for small businesses and businesses in general, when do they have to have a Bitcoin strategy? Mike?
Not in our lifetime.
For real? Really?
Bitcoin is not, forget about whether you think it's a fraud, whether you think it's a game and tulip bulbs or not. The small businesses have to worry about how they're going to attract 5 people to produce a product, how they're going to figure out how to sell it and keep the door open and clean up at the end of the day. Small businesses are where the rubber meets the road. They're not dealing in extensive financial transactions. They're dealing in trying to create products that people want to buy. And it's one person selling to one person, much more so than all of the things we talk about.
So let's broaden that out, Lloyd. You have not rejected or endorsed Bitcoin, okay? But when does Goldman have to have a Bitcoin strategy?
Have to have it?
Yeah.
Not today. I mean, I said when. I'd say life must be really, really rosy if this is what we're talking about. It just feels...
This is what Wall Street's talking... Okay, so I was talking to Jeff Curry over at Goldman the other day, and he said the only thing that people are asking him are Bitcoin and EVs. So you're a huge investment bank. You have to be thinking about this. Life must be really rosy
if this is... Yes, I'm thinking about it because I get asked about it. I said, look, where I am is it's not for me, but there's a lot of things that weren't for me in the past that worked out very well. If you told me that if it was 20 years forward and it worked out, I could tell you why it worked out. But based on everything I know, I'm not guessing that it will work out. But I can't say, I'm not going to stand there and be strident and say it's a fraud. It can't, because it might.
Alex, I think also people confuse Bitcoin with BitChain. There is a blockchain. There is a technology where you can have different accesses to data, different people can control it, you can see who's doing what and that sort of thing. And there are places where that is a useful thing. In fact, the Bloomberg system is a blockchain. We just, instead of having the users control it, we control it, but it has all the attributes of that. Bitcoin is something very different. Bitcoin, and there's a whole bunch of cryptocurrencies that have been started every day, you have a new one. That's something very different, and whether or not the governments of the world will lose control of monetary policy, I'm skeptical. They're just not going to let that happen, and they shouldn't.
Something that moves up and down 20% in a day doesn't feel like a current, doesn't feel like a store
and
value.
It's just being quoted up and down. There's no value.
Maybe not a currency, but Jeff Curry told me it was a commodity, and that goes to your expertise, Lloyd. You grew up in the commodity business. So talk to me about what are the unregulated trading world of Bitcoin? Like, where's the fraud going to come?
The whole concept is, I don't, well, first of all,
but is it buyer, is it seller, is it price discovery? Like, where's the risk there in the financial
One of the main uses of Bitcoin is as a vehicle for perpetrating fraud. I mean, because you can't trace it. There's no payment.
So is cash sometimes.
So is cash, but guess what? It's hard to accumulate cash sometimes.
Yeah, but the world is going in a different direction, if you think about it. Go look in China, where they're basically getting rid of cash. Everybody is paying with their smartphones. People who are begging in the streets have a little sign next to where they're sitting in the streets. These are people who really need help from society. Instead, they're sitting there begging for money. They have a sign with a code on it, a QR code. If you want to give them money, you point your cell phone at the QR code, hit a button, and they have a bank account. And that's the way they're getting their money. China is heading in the direction, and they've gone a very large way, as is India starting to do the same thing, of getting rid of cash. And one of the reasons is that you can then stop the black market and stop the drug dealers, and you can track where all the currency is going. We're not going to go in a different direction. Now, America may not be ready to go there, although we're going to be left behind if we don't, because this is a much more efficient ways of paying for goods and services.
So, Lloyd, that's
they're also going to know what everybody's doing with their money.
Of course they're going to know, but Google already knows exactly what you're doing.
And Amazon, by the way.
Nobody complains about that.
But Lloyd, so that raises the question. You have to be thinking about an investment banking strategy with Bitcoin. I can't believe that you're not.
No, I don't have to be thinking about that.
You want to tell me that you're not talking to any of your guys?
What?
You're not talking to your guys about what the strategy is going to be.
No, I hear it and I do it, but it was spending too. It's just, we'll see. If it works out and it gets more established and it trades like a store of value and it doesn't move up and down 20% and there's liquidity in it, we'll get to it. But you asked me, the original question was, when do small business people have to think about their Bitcoin strategy? I'd worry about opening the doors, producing things that people want to buy, dealing with their, business planning.